Art has a way of transcending time and culture. It communicates something beyond language, embedding secrets, emotions, and even political messages. But sometimes, the beauty of a painting or sculpture isn't just in what we can see, it's in what's hidden beneath the surface. From symbolic choices of color to intricate positioning of subjects, many famous works of art contain deeper meanings than what we might first perceive. Today, we'll delve into the mysteries, untold stories, and surprising secrets behind some of the most iconic pieces of art history. Prepare to uncover meanings that have sparked controversy, inspired countless interpretations, and connected with humanity in ways most wouldn't expect. Let's start with one of the most iconic paintings of all time, where controversy is still brewing today. Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper. Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper is a mural that seems straightforward, a depiction of Jesus' final meal with his apostles. But what if I told you there's much more beneath its surface? Let's start with one of the most debated hidden meanings. The figure next to Jesus, traditionally identified as John the Apostle, has been speculated by many, including historians, religious scholars, and even conspiracy theorists, to actually be Mary Magdalene. If this is true, it would suggest that da Vinci embedded an alternative narrative of early Christianity. Could Leonardo have been hinting at a sacred union between Jesus and Mary? This idea gained significant traction through the Da Vinci Code, which, while fictional, reignited serious academic discussions. What makes this controversial is that it challenges established religious dogma, raising eyebrows even today. Aside from the debate about Mary Magdalene, the use of geometry within the Last Supper is remarkable. Art historians note the triangular arrangement of Jesus and the apostles, a possible reference to the Holy Trinity. There are also 12 figures surrounding Jesus, which is not just the number of apostles. It also has significance in astrology, representing the 12 signs of the zodiac. Da Vinci was known for his interest in mathematics, and some believe he used these precise geometrical patterns to imbue his work with hidden spiritual significance. Another fascinating element is Da Vinci's use of light and shadow to guide the viewer's eye. At the center of the painting, behind Jesus' head, there is an almost halo-like effect from the window, making him the undeniable focal point of the piece. But, interestingly, the shadows and angles around the apostles seem to suggest tension. Each apostle reacts differently to Jesus' declaration of betrayal, and their gestures create a narrative of suspicion and guilt. It's this psychological depth that turns a simple biblical scene into a rich tapestry of human emotion. Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa. Staying with Da Vinci, let's move to his most famous work, the Mona Lisa. At first glance, it's simply a portrait of a woman, famous for her enigmatic smile. But why has this painting, out of all the Renaissance masterpieces, sparked so much intrigue? One theory proposes that the Mona Lisa is not just a portrait of a woman but also a disguised self-portrait of Da Vinci. Some art historians suggest that Da Vinci blended his own features with that of the sitter, Lisa Gherardini. Modern digital analyses have shown a striking resemblance between the facial structure of the Mona Lisa and Leonardo's self-portraits. Could it be that Da Vinci was exploring the concept of androgyny or the unity of masculine and feminine principles? If this is true, the painting becomes a statement about the duality of human nature. There's more. Hidden within the Mona Lisa are scientific marvels. Leonardo's subtle use of sfumato, a technique where colors and tones are blended without visible brushstrokes, creates a lifelike quality, almost as if Mona Lisa herself might breathe. The blurred background has been analyzed for hidden geometric patterns, and some suggest that Da Vinci encoded the golden ratio, a mathematical concept found throughout nature, into the painting's structure. It's no wonder people are endlessly fascinated by this piece. It's as much a scientific puzzle as it is a work of art. Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night. From the serene calm of the Mona Lisa, let's now look at the swirling chaos of Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night. This painting, with its intense blue hues and explosive sky, has been interpreted in many ways, from emotional anguish to an expression of cosmic wonder. Van Gogh painted Starry Night while staying in a mental asylum, and many believe it reflects his psychological struggles. The swirling stars and clouds mirror his inner turmoil. But here's something you may not know. Scientists have analyzed the swirling patterns in the painting and found that they closely resemble the mathematical structure of turbulence, a complex fluid dynamic. Could Van Gogh have, consciously or unconsciously, captured one of the most intricate patterns in nature while expressing his emotional state. There's also the possibility that Van Gogh was influenced by recent astronomical discoveries. The prominent star in the painting is often identified as Venus, which was indeed visible from his window at the time. Some historians believe that the artist, fascinated by the night sky, was painting not just what he saw but what he felt, a blend of reality and imagination, chaos and beauty. Salvador Dali's The Persistence of Memory. Speaking of imagination, no one bends reality quite like Salvador Dali. His painting The Persistence of Memory is famous for its melting clocks draped over barren landscapes, often interpreted as a surreal meditation on the fluidity of time. But there's more to it. Dali's work, often associated with Freudian psychology, has been analyzed through the lens of dream theory. The melting clocks may symbolize the distorted perception of time that occurs in dreams, where past, present, and future blur together. Some art critics suggest that the melting clocks could also represent the fleeting nature of human existence. Time, as we know it, is not as rigid as we think. In dreams, memories fade, and reality bends. The strange, faceless figure in the foreground of The Persistence of Memory has often been thought to represent Dali himself, a self-portrait of sorts, embedded within his own dreamscape. This idea aligns with Dali's fascination with identity and his often bizarre public persona. Could this figure be Dali's commentary on the malleability of identity itself? Like time, our sense of self can be distorted and reshaped by memory, perception, and experience. Pablo Picasso's Guernica. Next, we turn to one of the most politically charged works of art ever created, Pablo Picasso's Guernica. Painted in response to the bombing of the Spanish town of Guernica during the Spanish Civil War, this massive mural is filled with symbolic representations of suffering, fear, and death. At first glance, Guernica seems chaotic. Distorted bodies, screaming figures, and a disjointed horse dominate the canvas. But Picasso deliberately embedded deeper meanings into the painting. The broken sword lying in the foreground has often been interpreted as a symbol of defeat, while the small flower next to it suggests hope amidst destruction. The bull and the horse, traditional symbols of Spain, are also key figures in the painting, representing the pain and suffering of the Spanish people during this dark period. Interestingly, the light bulb in the top center of the painting has sparked controversy. Some interpret it as the eye of God, watching the destruction, while others see it as a symbol of technological warfare, an allusion to the bombs that rained down on Guernica from the sky. Picasso never clarified these symbols, leaving Guernica open to interpretation, which has only heightened its relevance in discussions about war and violence. What's particularly striking about Guernica is its continued relevance. During the Vietnam War, images of Guernica were used in protests, and to this day, it serves as a symbol against the horrors of war. This painting's meaning has transcended its original context, becoming a timeless plea for peace. Michelangelo's The Creation of Adam. Moving from the devastation of war to the beauty of creation, Michelangelo's The Creation of Adam is one of the most famous religious paintings in Western art. Located on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, it depicts the biblical scene of God giving life to Adam. But there's more to this painting than just a religious story. In recent years, scholars have proposed that the shape surrounding God and the angels resembles the anatomical structure of the human brain. Michelangelo was known to have studied anatomy extensively, and some believe he deliberately included this shape to represent the gift of consciousness that God bestows upon humanity. This theory turns the painting into not just a religious scene but a statement about the human mind and intellect. Another fascinating interpretation relates to the gap between God's hand and Adam's. While God reaches out to give life, he doesn't quite touch Adam's hand. This has been seen as a symbol of free will. God offers life, but humans have the autonomy to choose their own paths. In this sense, Michelangelo's work reflects Renaissance humanism, emphasizing the power of human agency alongside divine creation. Diego Velázquez's Las Meninas. Diego Velázquez's Las Meninas is one of the most enigmatic paintings ever created. At first glance, it appears to be a portrait of the young Spanish princess and her entourage, but the painting is filled with puzzling elements that have left art historians debating its meaning for centuries. One of the most intriguing aspects of Las Meninas is the presence of Velázquez himself, who appears in the painting, standing behind a large canvas. He's painting something, but what? Some scholars believe that Velázquez is playing with the viewer's perception, challenging the traditional roles of artist, subject, and viewer. In this sense, the painting becomes a commentary on the nature of art itself. Then there's the mirror in the background, reflecting the images of King Philip IV and Queen Mariana, who aren't present in the foreground. Some interpret this as a reflection of royal power, suggesting that the true subjects of the painting are not the princess and her attendants, but the king and queen. This complex layering of reality and reflection adds a philosophical dimension to the painting, making it a meditation on art, power, and perception. Edward Munch's The Scream. Few paintings have captured the existential terror of modern life like Edward Munch's The Scream. The twisted, anguished figure on the bridge has become a universal symbol of anxiety and despair. But what was Munch really trying to convey? One theory is that the scream represents Munch's own mental state. He suffered from anxiety and depression, and many believe the painting is a direct expression of his inner turmoil. But there's another layer to the work. Some art historians suggest that the vivid, swirling sky in the painting may have been inspired by a natural phenomenon. In 1883, the eruption of the Krakatoa volcano caused strange, fiery sunsets across Europe, and Munch may have witnessed these apocalyptic skies. Moreover, the use of color in the scream is crucial to its meaning. The sky's blood-red hues, the sickly yellows of the landscape, and the ghostly white of the screaming figure all contribute to an overwhelming sense of dread. In this way, Munch used color not just to depict reality but to evoke emotion, turning the scream into a visual representation of existential fear. Gustav Klimt's The Kiss lets shift from existential fear to something seemingly more positive, love. Gustav Klimt's The Kiss is one of the most famous representations of romantic love in art history. But is this painting as simple as it appears? At first glance, The Kiss depicts an intimate moment between a man and a woman, their bodies intertwined in a golden embrace. However, some art historians believe that the painting carries deeper symbolic meanings. The man's angular features and the geometric shapes in his robe contrast sharply with the woman's soft, curvilinear form, symbolizing the duality of masculine and feminine energy. Additionally, Klimt's use of gold leaf harkens back to Byzantine religious iconography, suggesting that this moment of earthly love is also divine. The swirling patterns in the background add to this otherworldly feeling, turning a simple kiss into a spiritual experience. But there's more. Some critics have pointed out that the woman's posture seems passive, almost submissive, while the man dominates the composition. Could the kiss be commenting on the power dynamics in romantic relationships? This interpretation adds a layer of complexity to what might otherwise be seen as a straightforward depiction of love. Johannes Vermeer's Girl with a Pearl Earring, often called the Mona Lisa of the North, Johannes Vermeer's Girl with a Pearl Earring is one of the most mysterious portraits in art history. But who was this girl, and what does the painting signify? One popular theory is that the painting isn't a traditional portrait at all but rather a tronie, a type of Dutch painting that depicts a character or figure rather than a specific person. This would explain the girl's exotic clothing and the large, gleaming pearl in her ear, both of which seem out of place for a simple portrait. Some art historians believe that the painting is more about capturing a fleeting expression, a moment of beauty, rather than immortalizing a specific individual. But there's more to the story. The large pearl earring, which gives the painting its name, has been interpreted as a symbol of wealth and status. In 17th century Europe, pearls were incredibly valuable, and owning such a large one would have been a sign of immense wealth. Yet, the girl's simple clothing suggests she is not of high status, creating a tension between her modest appearance and the opulence of the pearl. This contrast adds to the mystery and allure of the painting, leaving us to wonder who this girl really was and what Vermeer was trying to say. René Magritte's The Son of Man. René Magritte's The Son of Man is one of the most iconic surrealist paintings, depicting a man in a suit with an apple obscuring his face. But what does it mean? Magritte once explained that the apple in front of the man's face represents the idea that everything we see hides something else. This concept is central to much of Magritte's work. His paintings often challenge our perceptions of reality. By obscuring the man's face, Magritte forces us to question our assumptions about identity and reality. We think we know what we're seeing, but there's always something hidden from view. Some art historians have suggested that the painting also plays with religious symbolism. The apple is often associated with the biblical story of Adam and Eve, representing temptation and knowledge. Could Magritte be commenting on the human desire for understanding and the barriers that stand in our way? Whatever the interpretation, the Son of Man continues to intrigue and puzzle viewers, offering a window into the surreal and the unknowable. From the divine touch of Michelangelo to the melting clocks of Salvador Dali, these famous works of art offer much more than meets the eye. Hidden within their brushstrokes are messages about time, identity, love, and the human experience. Whether it's the mathematical precision in the Last Supper, the existential dread in the scream, or the spiritual undertones of the kiss, each piece invites us to look deeper, question our assumptions, and uncover the mysteries hidden within the canvas. Art is not just a reflection of the world, it's a reflection of the artist's mind, the culture they lived in, and sometimes, the mysteries of the human soul. These hidden meanings remind us that art is a conversation, one that continues across time, challenging us to think, feel, and see the world in new ways.